Hi, hey guys. Um, First, I want to talk about UFC. So you've got upcoming UFC that's coming up is Justin Gaethje versus Paddy the Baddy Pimblett, and I think that's pretty good. I almost think Gaethje is a tough. I'm gonna say tough MF. Let's just say tough motherfucker. Okay, whatever, whatever. But he is a tough motherfucker, and um, I can say the same about Paddy the Baddy. Like you could probably say that Chandler, like um, like Chandler's not really in his prime, but I don't think that's the case. Like he's a tough bastard as well. You know what I mean? Um, Michael Chandler, like, have you seen have you seen his fights against, say, Justin Gaethje or um, people like that? He can go with you, but I think maybe Paddy was just really tough in that fight where he with Michael Chandler. Like, it's very easy for me to talk from the sidelines because I'm not the one fighting, but I think it's probably a good part of our own development to um, practice martial arts ourselves and like experience that in. I know probably in some gyms or something it might be a bit reckless, but maybe in a pretty tame environment where you respect each other and you're not there to kill each other. You're there to to learn and challenge each other. Yeah, I think that's cool. Like a bit of martial arts. I might get into that myself. Um, but I think it's awesome as well. Just to deviate a little bit about the UFC, how Peter Yan defeated Mirab, Dvalishvili, or they might pronounce it Mirab Dvalishvili. That's what they say. I'm like, whatever. There's V's in there, but maybe they pronounce it W for some reason. But I think some people some fighters struggle so much with the wrestlers, but then others are able to get over to get over it, like Peter Yan. It's strange, isn't it? Because like I was talking with a father the other day because I work with kids, and he was saying how he used to box. He was a boxer, and he also learned kickboxing. And by the way, with in New Zealand, and I'll give you a hint. New Zealand. So there's a few New Zealanders like Adesanya and Dan Hooker that he was training with, that he was learning from rather, and he's saying that just because a fighter isn't as good of a wrestler as say Makachev or Mirab or Chimaev, people like that. If they're not as good at wrestling, if they're in the UFC, they're likely a fucking good wrestler still. Like in their own country, probably. Like they'd like even a good wrestler who thinks he's a good wrestler, well trained and all that, probably not a pro, but their level is still very high. It's a little bit like I'd like to say like the Tour de France. Um, there's sprinters who their specialty is sprinting, and then there's climbers, their specialty is climbing. But that's not to say that a climber who's a very skinny fellow, he wouldn't do well in a sprint in his in his nation. So if he was doing his national championships, he'd probably contest the sprint. Do you know what I mean? I'm sure there's other national riders who would smash him in the sprint, but he's still a good sprinter. Do you know what I mean? And same with the climbers. Same with the sprinters. Um, they can climb, but they're not. That's not their specialty, but they can do it. You know what I mean? They can do it very well, but not maybe at the top level, but good enough to be among the pros. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's the point. Um, so I think that gives O'Malley another chance because you can tell he was frustrated with that rematch with Mirab, but he gets another chance. Yeah. I know I'm jumping around a bit with the martial arts, but I'm also pumped for Volkanovski against uh, well, I got a mental blank for a second. Diego Lopes. Wow, that's gonna be fucking good because Diego Lopes is an entertaining fighter, and wow, he's a ruthless motherfucker too. Like against wait, um, I'm getting another mental blank, but the bloke who he just fought at UFC Mexico. It was the fight night in Mexico. Mexico, was it Mexico? No, 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 it wasn't in Mexico. It was in Texas, and it was to sell. It was Noche UFC, and yeah, forgive me for not remembering the guy's name. Maybe I'll pause the video for a second and see if I can remember. Wait, one sec. Doesn't matter. I can't remember. But he's an entertaining fighter, Lopes. You know, he's a charismatic fellow, but fuck, he's ruthless. Like with those elbows. You know what I mean? Into yeah, into the guy who's a very good fighter as well. And but yeah, looking forward to that with Volkanovski. See if he can do it again, or if Lopes is just up and coming and it's inevitable. You know what I mean? But that's pretty cool about UFC. Yeah, looking forward to it. And Justin Gaethje against Paddy. Who knows? Maybe Paddy is an up and comer as well, and he's just plowing through, you know, most of the division until he gets to Ilia Topuria. But who knows what's happening with Ilya, you know? All right, that was cool to talk with you about UFC. I'll see you later. Catch ya.